the kids from American Pie would be old enough to be the parents in Blockers. Math making you feel old too? No. Cock Blockers. It's called Cock Blockers. The title is Blockers, but it has that in front of it, which is a cock. Clever way of getting around that, though. So Cock Blockers is essentially the whole we want to lose our virginity at prom story. A high school teen sex comedy. We've seen it 100 times before. In Cock Blockers, it's a group of 3 friends. They want to lose their virginities on prom night. Then the parents get wind of this. They start freaking out, so they want to, you know, cock block them. Now we have a movie of a night of shenanigans. And I want to give props to the cast in this movie. The 3 friends, I didn't even think about how they work together so well. Chemistry in movies is a funny thing. When it sucks, it's obvious. When it works really well, you almost don't notice it because it so organically flows. Kind of like you notice you don't usually notice the visual effects in a movie unless they suck. Visual effects are used all the time, and when they're good, you don't notice that they're even being used. Like people now are like, CGI sucks. Not bad, CGI sucks. And it's noticeable. That's how chemistry is, and that's how it is with this crew. This crew so organically feels like best friends. I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually best friends in real life. Unlikely. I'm just saying they were all really great. They didn't overdo it. They weren't cartoon versions of themselves. They just felt like 3 girls who hang out in high school. Maybe you want to get some ass tonight. Who knows? As for the parents, the standout was this dude. This dude you've seen in a lot of things, including the best movie of all time, Suicide Squad. Just owning it at this point. This dude's the show stealer. He's the one I remember in this movie because he's that character that just sticks with you in a comedy. At least a comedy based around family. There's always that friend who's kind of a burnout, doesn't have his shit together. But damn it, he is the funniest one to watch on screen, but he's also the one you don't want as a Facebook friend. Leslie Mann's really good. We've seen her in comedy. Is what I know her from, so you know she has it. John Cena's the one I want to talk about because very rarely does someone who's known for, you know, physique go, you know what, I want to do acting and I'm going to go straight to comedy. Usually they blow shit up and then end up being in comedies later down the road. No, he's like, out the gate, I want to do comedy. And generally, he does good in the movie. What I love most about this movie is how they deal with it, how they address it being sex. The movie's very self-aware and it comes from a very current angle. You know, comedies like this thus far, who have the parents who are like, my kids aren't getting sex tonight. They have the parent that's like the dad from 10 Things I Hate About You. That's how parents are supposed to react, right? And some do act this way. Is it normal? Probably not. The knee-jerk reaction, sure, but follow through, that's where insanity comes in. It's kind of nuts. And this movie deals with that. It addresses that. I also like the fact that it's set apart from other comedies like this, in the sense that most comedies that have this premise are like, well, sex is the end game. That's what we're going for. That is the goal. Sex for the sake of sex. This movie treats it a little differently, like sex is an action, but that's not, what else is there? This movie feels more layered than most movies with this premise anyway. And this movie had me laughing. I was never in tears. There are definitely movies I have laughed harder in. Lately, probably not. Except Girls Trip, that one was pretty hysterical. But this movie definitely did have the laughs. Bummer is, so did the trailer. A couple of the big laughs, you can tell. They were like, all right, this is our ace in the hole. Gonna save this for the movie, but we're also gonna show it in the trailer. And when it was coming, it was building, and I knew it was coming. Sure enough, it happened. I was like, yeah, I saw it in the trailer. You don't want to spoil the funniest moments in the trailer, but comedies usually do that. It's a tough line to walk for comedies. You got to sell the movie in the trailer. You do that by showing funny stuff. How much is too much? The trailer for this movie, I think it crossed the line a bit. And some of the editing was choppy in parts. One scene in particular, not going to spoil it for you, but it does have to do with lights being out. It's very dark. And I was like, there is no way anyone can get out of this scenario. Very next scene, they're all running down the street like, oh man, that was crazy. I was like, how'd you get out of that? I guess we'll never know. Maybe the cutting room floor has something they'll show in the Blu-ray. But in the end, with Blockers, I had a good time. It's not just that it was a pretty funny movie. By the end of this movie, I was like, this movie had a lot of heart. That's where I feel the payoff is. If a scene's supposed to make you laugh, maybe it doesn't. At least there's sentimentality as a backup. The first act is a bit choppy as it tries to get going, but once it does get going, it is a good time. No alcohol required. Funny thing is, when I reflect on the demographic this movie's meant for, it's obviously geared for teenagers and their parents, but I feel like it does aim towards the parents more. Just keep that in mind. Alright, so Blockers, which is actually called Cock Blockers, but they can't say Cock Blockers on the posters, so we do have an icon. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.